So next up, we had an article, Best of Saturn Burning Rangers, which was kind of timely, as when this went up last week, we had just got news of we've been seeing the whole Burning Rangers remake thing, the fan project,
Yeah, I think that's up for download now at the Sage, Sonic was it Sonic Adventure, Sonic Games or whatever. I can't remember what the Sage name of it is.
I thought it was the Sonic Fan Games Expo.
Oh, is that it? Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it is. And yeah, so hold on a second. I have to pause what we're doing. Derek A-Team needs a shout because he just changed his Patreon pledge to $10. So thank you, Derek.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up. We saw that email come through.
I just saw it, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing and let him know. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Derek. Love you, Derek.
Yep. So and go check out his games that he's translated, the Soccer Wars columns and the Crazy Taxi,
Rainbow Cotton.
Rainbow Cotton.
Yeah, Taxi 2 and Rainbow Cotton.
Yeah, exactly. So check out his games, support him too. So yeah, what do you want to say about Burning Rangers, Pat? Is this a favorite of yours? Is this a game you enjoy? Sonic Team.
So basically, I heard about it through Phantasy Star online. Mm-hmm. As you know, that you can find different songs and stuff when you play through the game. They play things, and I was like, "Oh, this is a pretty catchy song. I wonder if it's from." And I had looked up the song. I was like, "Oh, it's from Burning Rangers, the game."
Yep.
So that's kind of cool. So I tried it out, and I actually really do enjoy it. It's kind of hard at first, especially with some of the directions and the controls, but I think it's a really fun game, and I think it's probably one of Sonic Team's most underrated games of all time.
And like all of Sonic Team's good IP, they're never going to make another one.
Exactly.
Basically.
Unless it's a completely different game on the Wii.
The first thing I ever remember about this game was, as a kid, my brother and I, we would walk to Barnes & Noble. This was before I could drive. We would walk to Barnes & Noble, and we would look at the magazine rack because they would always import official Sega Saturn magazine, right? And I guess this would have been towards the end of the Saturn's life cycle, because there was that Burning Rangers cover, and I was reading it, and I was like, a game about firefighting? That sounds so lame, like I just couldn't, it was like, what is it, like Backdraft the game or something like that? I just, as a kid, could not imagine how a game about firefighting could be cool,
That's like Frequency.
Right? But I mean, of course, when I played it, it was absolutely fantastic. I love this game. This is a true Sonic Team game, if there ever was one. There's so much DNA of Sonic Adventure in here. There's so much DNA of Phantasy Star Online in here, like you were saying. It runs deep.
I mean, I think it was the last game on the Saturn before Sonic Adventure. So, I mean, honestly, it's probably going to
same number of playable characters. Of course, some of them are unlockable. You got the Orca in this game, and then he shows up in Sonic Adventure chasing after you. You've got so many nods.
A few more polygons involved.
Oh, quite a few more for sure. But I mean, the similarities run deep, and there are several nods to this game and other Sonic Team games in subsequent Sonic Team games. But I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's just that really weird, quirky, very risky type of game development. We have an idea that's just bonkers. We're going to go with it because Sega gave us a blank check kind of thing, because we're God, basically. And we can just do whatever the hell we want. It's like most companies, I don't know that this would fly in the boardroom, but like if Yuji Naka says, I'm going to make a game, it's like, no, but even if it's that recent one that he put out, yeah, Balan Wonderland, people just let him do it, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe not now, but we'll see.
I mean, he got fired from Square Enix, so probably not.
Yeah, so maybe not now.
Yuji Naka worked for Square Enix?
Yeah, that's what Balan Wonderland was.
Yeah, Balan Wonderland.
No, I thought he was the head of Probe or whatever it's called.
Probe.
Apparently he was working for Square, yeah.
So yeah, Probe he did, what was it? The one, the flying in the sky with the tail. It was on the Wii U.
Rodea the Sky.
Rodea the Sky Soldier.
Soldier, yeah.
So that was Probe. That was his own company. And then, of course, that didn't do too well. commercially, financially, you know. And
to be fair though, the Wii version was the definitive one, and he had to do the Wii U version. He's like, he literally said, "Yeah, don't play the Wii U version, play the Wii version."
Yeah, same. I bought the Wii U version, and I kept the Wii disc and the reverse insert, you know, for the Wii. I just made it a Wii game, and I sold off the Wii U version because I was like, I don't need this now. But essentially, I agree with you fully, and that didn't do so well. So then, he went to work for Square Enix, and that was his shot. Balan Wonder World or Wonderland. Am I saying
Wonderland,
that right?
yeah.
Wonderland. That was his shot.
Wonderland.
They gave him one shot. You know, it didn't do too well in reviews, much less commercially. So, yeah. But you know, that's the thing is, he sticks to his guns and goes high concept with things. Sometimes a little bit to the detriment, you know, of the game. But
it's like Kojima.
oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, same story with Kojima, right? I mean, not all of his stuff has really done that well. I think probably some of the earlier stuff that Kojima did that did better commercially probably had a lot more control and oversight from the company, you know. But like, he became a rock star, and then people are like,
did Kojima? Did he ever actually make a critical failure of a game?
Not
Critical
really. I mean,
failure,
Death
no.
Stranding. I wouldn't say Death Stranding is critical failure.
No, Death Stranding is way too popular for
It's
that.
panned.
People love Death
It's panned is what it is. It's not a Metal Gear Solid where everybody's like unanimous about how great it is, you know.
It's more like a decisive thing, like in the middle. Like some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah, I never got the impression that Death Stranding was anything less than popular.
Well, Pat doesn't
it's still,
Pat's
it's
not a
still
fan.
game.
I mean, Pat's a Kojima fan, and he's not like a huge fan of Death Stranding. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, the game. I don't think the game was for me. I'm gonna try one of these days and just sit down and beat it, just so I can beat all the Kojima games.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean,
yeah.
you know, Knight is saying it wasn't as successful as they expected it was, and I mean that's kind of dollars and cents
That's a different
wise.
metric.
Yeah, that's a different metric, but it's one that matters to the big companies putting forth those like $1 million development budgets, you know, for games like that. But he should really do like a. Should. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, where are you gonna rank Burning Rangers on a list for the Sonic Team games? If you like we're with if it's like a list from 1 to 5.
I mean, like Sonic Team doesn't exactly have the best track record, so like by default, it's pretty far up on the top 50% at least.
Yeah,
I mean,
like in terms of the franchises, I probably would have to put a number 2 behind Sonic. Actually, maybe 3 behind Phantasy Star, but I can do there's Phantasy Star Online, but
they've heavily diluted Sonic and Phantasy Star at this point. There's more bad than good Phantasy Star games now.
Yeah, so see, like Phantasy Star Online version 2 for Dreamcast, that's like one of my favorite games of all time. So that and Nights into Dreams are probably like Nights into Dreams and like Sonic 1 and 2 are probably like their best games of all time. And then it kind of goes down from there, in my opinion. I like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, but I mean, they haven't aged as gracefully as like Nights. I think Nights is still just as playable today as it was back then. You know, it's just an acquired taste. Like if you didn't like it back then, it doesn't matter, but it's just as playable today as it was back then. Sonic Adventure, man, it's like I go mostly off of nostalgia because the gameplay is not that great. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And I don't mean
fair,
to.
But yeah,
I don't mean to offend any Sonic Adventure fans. You know.
It definitely hasn't aged well, but it's still worth the play. I still think it's better than Sonic Adventure 2. But this is my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely worth a play. Absolutely, I agree that it is worth a play. And you know, it's just what would you play it on though? Would you play it on the original on the Dreamcast, or would you play like the GameCube port?
The Dreamcast for sure.
Yeah,
Dreamcast
you don't
for
play
sure.
anywhere else.
Yeah. Okay.
So the GameCube actually is a downgrade in terms of graphical fidelity. They actually disable a lot of lighting effects, and also the control scheme is not quite there. Like if you go directly between Dreamcast controller and GameCube controller, you can tell that the controls were tweaked for the Dreamcast controller, and they never really fixed it when they ported it.
True. Yeah. And I mean, like. I was thinking about, so Sonic R was not Sonic Team, that was Travelers 2.
Right. John Burton.
We were actually just talking about him on the way over here.
You guys should get John Burton on the show somehow.
We should. I've tried. He is a very popular guy, and he has a huge he has like a huge following, and it's just very hard to get a hold of him. To be honest,
He's got his own Discord, but like he's never on it.
Yeah, I'm on his Discord, but it's just like a bunch of Discord folks running it. He's very hard to get a hold of, let me tell you. I've tried. And he had a video. He had a video like, tell me what you want me to, what kind of questions you want me to answer or something like that. Or there was like the closest thing to an opportunity, and I replied in the comments. I was like, would you like to come on the SHIRO show and talk about your Saturn development? We would love to hear about it. And I never heard back. So John Burton's been like one of my people that I'd like to get for like the last few years, and we'll see. I know he's just a busy guy. So if anybody has, if anyone has connections, hook us up, man. We would love to get him on the show.
I mean, right now he's working on a bunch of licensed Lego games, right?
This is true, yeah. He does the Legos games. That's a pretty big thing for him, yeah, for Traveler's Tales. I'm trying to think if he does.
We'll have to have some Sega Saturn Lego games.
But I mean, most of his videos recently or lately have really been focused, I would say, on the Sega Genesis stuff, that he did. And I mean, he's had a couple like Sonic R videos, but I really like him to get into the 32-bit era some more and talk about that, because that's obviously an era that I'm most interested in. But anyway,
you have a lot of work besides. Because all I'm aware of that he worked on was like Sonic R and Sonic 3D. Did he have a lot of work in the 32-bit era compared to Genesis?
I don't know. I know he had a lot in with the Genesis, but I would have to double check. I'd have to look at it again. Right. But yeah. So anyway, I'm sure he has a lot to say, because Sonic R, there's a lot going on there. So even with that one game, I would love to hear from him.
Hey John, you have the latest version of SGL sitting around somewhere?
I know, right? Do you think it would be great if folks like actually held on to that kind of stuff? Nobody I've talked to, everyone that we've talked to has just been like, oh yeah, I probably would have thrown that out. Like, I didn't have the foresight to think I was going to need that again.
Maybe we'll have to ask someone to get on the show.
You never know. So what version of SGL do you guys currently have? Just through the whatever discs are available?
I forget. I think it's like 3.2.1 or something. I don't know. I probably just made that number up.
Well, whatever. You guys are looking for like some kind of like lost holy grail final version or something like that might have been on a developer disc or something like that.
I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have an update because there'd probably be more. I think there's some features that aren't fully implemented or something, and obviously the documentation isn't 100%. I'm sure by the time 1998, 1999 rolled around, they had something better than what we're working with right now.
I mean, by 1999, they probably threw away that documentation.
I mean, XL2's written his own renderer, and from what I can tell, it works really well. So
yeah.
So
I don't even know how he did that.
If he could open source that and share it with the community and make it a development library,
Yeah, I don't know if this has been announced, but XL2 does have a Patreon that he kind of quietly launched. I don't know if you guys talked about it on your show yet, but
I did not know. Yeah. I did not know. We'll talk about it right now. Yeah. XL2 has a Patreon. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a patron on it. It's like $5 or $6 or something. It's super cheap. He doesn't really make any serious promises. Again, he's got like a full-time job and a new kid and stuff. But
sure.
But I'm hoping, like crossing my fingers, like I guess calling him out on the show right now, that he's going to produce some tools, because it sounds like he's taking a little break from Hellslave to just do whatever the Patreon looks like the Patreon wants to do. I would say that if he could make tools for the community, things like maybe commenting and releasing his map editor or the rendering pipeline that he has or whatever, like how he gets around, changing the work area properly to display more quads and do his lighting that is better than the SGL lighting. He does a whole bunch of tweaks to the engine that I think only he understands.
Yeah, he doesn't have to promise anybody anything. I mean, here's a guy who drops really fun playable FPS game for the entire community to play for free. I mean, I think like everyone knows if they're supporting him, they're helping to move those chains of Saturn development and helping us to understand more about the console. And the thing is, he has a history and a reputation of being helpful to others. So he's like, he helped Ponut. And Ponent helped him with the sound, with the sound driver that Ponent did. You know, like, it's a very helpful community, and so he's come along and helped tons of people. So I mean, definitely that's a worthwhile support right there. That's a worthwhile patron account right there.